Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the brand new 2022 Marvel Studios, I was going to say animated, feature film, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So to have Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange yet again, we have Elizabeth Olsen back as Wanda Maximoff, Rachel McAdams is back as Dr. Christine Palmer. New characters introduced, America Chavez. She's a newer comic centered character who deals with traveling the multiverse by herself. Doesn't have any variants. Very interesting, especially in regards to the TVA, because she doesn't have any variant. I'm curious. I want more explanation on that. So she's kind of new to the Marvel mythos. I forget the girl who plays her. Forget the actress's name. So this is very interesting. 2 hours long, very quick. It should have been a miniseries, to be completely honest. If this was a six episode miniseries, I feel like I would have loved it a lot more. I still love this. This is a great horror film. This is a horror film. Sam Raimi did an incredible job directing. Danny Elfman did an incredible job with the music, as the two always do. With 2 and 3, I think Danny Elfman did the music for Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, directed by Sam Raimi. I don't remember how many Spider-Man Danny actually composed, but this has a lot of world building because it's different multiverses. We're not going to go too into plot because it's very convoluted, but it makes sense within the context. I don't want to spoil a lot. We'll just converse on basic things that I noticed. So, I'm just trying to get my thinking post together too. How do we talk about this? Our universe is finally referenced as Earth 616. And I'm so glad it was finally referenced. It's been a thing for a while, comic-wise, just it's never been actually spoken. So now that we have actual words, great, finally. It's a great conversation starter, especially the whole dream-walking aspect of it. What if dreams are just windows into the realities of our other selves? Great concept. We've seen that spoken. We haven't really seen it, translate to film. This was great, translating to film. Very horror aspect, having Zombie Strange back into effect, having Captain Carter into effect from the What If TV series to have it as a live action, having Haley back in the role of Carter. Super cool. And having that whole Illuminati scene within the different universe that we're a part of for very briefly, having very specific characters come into effect. Super cool. But they're not our universe's characters. So when are we going to see those characters in our universe, you know? So, it brings us to the what's next. I loved Spider-Man Far From Home way more than I did Doctor Strange. Just in a multiversal aspect, it kind of was center-focused on just Spider-Man as Peter Parker and the villains that know him. This was diving from multiverse to multiverse to multiverse because America Chavez doesn't know how to control her powers. And then she eventually figures out how to control her powers, and it's a matter of why is Wanda trying to get her powers, right? So it's nice. It's a kind of coherent plot point. I do like that Illuminati aspect as that universe's version of the Avengers or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., something like that, right? But the amount of information that we were given should have been expanded upon. It went way too quick. Something was mentioned and something else just went right to the next. This should have been a miniseries just based off of the information, the storyline that we were given. Still a great story. I still love this movie. It's a great horror film. I jumped. I actually went when something happened. It doesn't really happen that often, but it got me. It got me by surprise because it's a Marvel film. You don't think a Marvel film is going to be scary. This was scary. The best part of this entire film, and I'm not ruining anything by saying this, but there was a music fight. That's all I'll say. And the music fight being scored by Danny Elfman, so having different styles of Danny Elfman fighting. Oh my God, it was so cool. It reminded me a lot of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World when they have the Battle of the Bands and they strum the guitar or they play the bass and then the music actually turns into something and then it's the two monsters fighting, music versus music fighting. There wasn't monsters in this of music, but it was still music fighting music. It was so cool and it reminded me so much of that Battle of the Bands from Scott Pilgrim, and I'm freaking out about that just from that movie. It was 12 years ago, but that's exactly what this reminded me of now. So to have two different Danny Elfman styles fighting against each other, it was so cool. So cool. It was my favorite part in the entire film. Very well done film. I am very excited to see what happens next, especially within the Marvel canon. On to the next review. Mucho mahalo.